Hello, I'm Jody Smith with Mack's Prairie Wings, and I have world champion caller and turkey call designer Steve Morgenstern here. Steve, we're glad to have you.
Hey Jody, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me in.
I hope you do good this weekend for World Calling Contest.
I hope so. This
Steve,
is a big one.
There's a lot of people that they're really not sure the best way to condition their call. Can you just show us, once they get this call out of the package, what's the best way to scratch it up to start using it?
Okay, sure. What I normally do is, they come with a scratcher pad, like a sandpaper screen. What I do is I like the stones, at least to get them started. And normally what I'll do is just lay them down flat and then just kind of work that back and forth. It doesn't take a lot of pressure, but you can kind of feel and hear that and see it digging into that call a little bit. To get that to where that you're kind of getting through the surface of the material.
Steve, do you always go the same direction?
I always try and go the same direction. Some guys say, you know, just to go one way. I've always went both ways, you know, back and forth instead of just across one way.
Okay.
And never had an issue. But once you get through that stuff, you get through the slick part, get a little something to bite. I mean, they're friction calls, and that's what it has to do is make friction.
Okay, now before we get started, now this spot you don't ever want to touch that or anything, do you?
You don't need to. I mean, you can scratch it all the way across. There's really no need to, and especially in the center, because you're not going to run the call in the center. So, you know, there's no need to scratch that all up. Just get you a good spot, one that you can keep conditioned fairly quick and easy, you know, when you're in the field.
Okay. Well, let's see how that sounds.
All right. So what we're doing, we want to get that up off our palm of our hand a little bit, kind of up on our fingertips. Put your striker, you're wanting just a high and a low note. And you're clucking. And as far as running the calls, a clucks, you're just starting at one spot and you're popping that peg. Coming right back to the same spot. Leave it right on the surface. Pop it.
Your stick is never leaving the surface.
Stick is never pulled up off of the surface, because what will happen is if you have say a cluck and you pick it up, hear that click? Every time you put it back down, you're going to get that sound. If you cluck and just drag it back, you're not going to hear that, and they're not going to hear it.
Is that true for a yelp? You always keep your striker on the surface?
Keep that striker on there. The yelp, you're wanting like a oval or a J shape to kind of come across the top and down to get that high and that low note. Okay, so come across to get that high note, and then down to get the low note. That's kind of exaggerated. And once you kind of get the notion of that, then just kind of put the rhythm to it. Put some clucks in with it.
Okay, last question. How do you know it's time to sand it again?
You're going to know because it's going to start slipping up, getting slick on you. And when you get to that point, you can take your stone or take that little, once you've got it conditioned, just hit it a few times.
Do you ever mess with your striker?
I'll take the striker with a Scotch-Brite pad and just maybe spin it in there a little bit, or even lay it in the palm of your hand, you know. And especially if you have to sand the end of it, put it in the palm of your hand, and that'll keep that rounded angle on the end of that striker. But clean that off. You're going to pick up some debris off the call. So where you can see that, if it gets too much, hit it on your scratch pad. Take your sanding screen or your stone on the glass.
Well, I sure appreciate the tips.
Hey, no problem.
Guys, that's Steve Morgenstern with Hooks Custom Game Calls. And if you need a Hooks call, you can go to www.maxpw.com.